Hello, it's Molly Reamer with 30 Days of Goddess in Bridget's Grove with this week's mini ritual in which we have a potpourri of possibilities, so to speak, instead of my usual format. So we're going to go ahead and use our 7th card in the Earth Runes deck that I'm currently building over the course of this year with the Goddess Magic community at patreon.com/goddessmagic. So patrons there get 1 card a week as this deck is being developed and is unfolding. Mark and I drew the symbols for this deck probably 8 years ago, and then they've sort of languished on little handwritten note cards ever since then. And so this year is the year in which it's being turned into a real deck. So I'm still feeling my way into those symbols, learning about what I'm creating here with this and sharing that with the patron community. So these videos give me an opportunity to explore the unfolding of that deck and connections that it makes with the other resources that we offer. So we also have our Bridget Story Goddess Oracle card, a card from Linda Fabry's deck. I will link to that below. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name of the actual deck at this exact second, so I'll link to that below. And then we are also using the Bridget card from the Goddess Oracle by Amy Sophia Marashinsky. And a little extra that this one just leaped out of the Cut Your Own decks for 30 Days of Goddess for me. And I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead. I was going to use something different. And I thought that's the prayer for us for today. So anyway, in Earth Runes, we are on the web, the rune of connection. This is a really powerful symbol for me this year. I wrote an essay, which I will also try to remember to link to below, about the webs we weave at the end of last year, about the spider that I was watching in my sliding glass door and all the connections that we form to our landscapes, to our lives, to other people, to all of the non-human lives that we share a home ground with. I'm amazed sometimes, especially when I look out the window in the morning and I see there's a mother deer and she has twin babies, and they come in the morning. They're only about, what do? They stand in the yard and they're possibly, 6 to 8 feet from the house. I guess more like 8 feet, 8 to 10 feet from the house, each snacking on the grass and looking around and scratching their heads with their hooves. And I think how interesting that this is our same home ground. Like, this is our home ground. That spider in my sliding glass door, we share the same landscape. We share the same space. And it boggles my mind sometimes by how many different forms of life share the same home ground with each of us. So the web, I actually have a web charm. I don't have her handy right now, but I have a web charm on my Word of the Year goddess for this year because it has been such a potent and recurring symbol of interconnection. So this is the rune of connection, of threads, tapestry, Ariadne, spiders, fates, incarnation, holding, balancing, drawing in, and reaching out. So you might think about how are you connected? Where are your threads? What are you weaving? And how, one of the things I say is that when we reach out to, touch these threads of grace, we find they're already holding us. We don't have to make it happen. We're already held in a web of interconnection and interdependence and support. We're already there in that web. Life is a great grand web of incarnation. So thinking about what you are drawing in and what you are extending, what threads are you sending out and what threads are you drawing support from, and how do they all weave together? And so how does it feel to let yourself drop into the sensation of being held in a web? And I guess you could look at this. I know spiders, catch things in webs and eat them. So you could consider that to be, I don't consider it to be a negative symbol or but I guess you could also think about what's confining you or what's holding you in, or how might you feel trapped in a web of your own design or a web of other people's making. How might you feel trapped in those threads, and what do you need to break out of? But for me, I look at it as a positive symbol of interconnection, support, and belonging. So we're connected in life's infinite web. And then let's see. This is actually a good reminder of that connection in life's infinite web too. Compassionate ascent. And I will say, I don't really connect that much with the phrase ascension. I feel like that's often used in kind of a way of bypassing, or I don't know. There's something that maybe I need to read more about what people mean when they use that word. It's not something I personally connect with the verbiage of or using that phrasing, but I do think this message is very powerful. And I just love these cards. This was a gift for me this year for solstice from Teal Joy Journey, who is a really valuable and integral part of our online community, and she gave me this deck. But like I said, it's by Linda Fabry, but the deck is, it's really beautiful with lots of lovely paintings. So here's this message. When the heart breaks open to make space for the suffering of another, the universe expands. Ascension is not a solitary journey. Together we rise. And I think this message is really important. This year, every year there's suffering for people, but this year there is a lot of suffering, and there are a lot of people who are being hurt and oppressed, and human rights violations are taking place on a major scale, and there is a lot of hurt. And I think it is important to remember that our hearts can break open to make space for the suffering of another. And in that breaking open is when the universe expands. Like, we cannot close our hearts, we cannot close our eyes, and we cannot turn away. And at the same time, I know it feels this way. It feels like, how dare I sit out here in the sun with my pretty little cards and think about the web of interconnection and feel positive and happy when there's so much suffering. And the thing is that I am here to say is that, yes, it is a privilege to be able to sit in the sun with your cards and to muse about webs of interconnection. Yes, there is tremendous privilege there. At the same time, we don't need to atone for privilege by becoming miserable. We don't need to atone for privilege by becoming miserable. We have a responsibility in having privilege to give as much good as we can, to put out as much good as we can into the world, to offer as much goodness as we can. That's our responsibility, to do as much good as we can, not to apologize for having sunshine and beauty and to then make ourselves miserable because we think we aren't worthy of those things because other people can't have them. We have a responsibility to offer as much good as we possibly can. That's what we have a responsibility for. Okay, sorry. Not sorry, but then our Bridget card from the Goddess Oracle is about the fire of inspiration. This is a really lovely card, and I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit from the book, from Amy's book. Let me show you that real quick. And I bent it, unfortunately, at the same time, but it has a really great reading that goes with Bridget. Let me come to you through the mists, through the fire, through the plants, through the deep flowing wells, and with ideas, visions, words, music beyond the tips of your ears. Let me move you, enliven you, stimulate you till your perspective shifts and your mind, body, spirit explodes, and you are left standing in the wake of what has been revealed, and life feels very sweet. So I think this really has a nice connection to our web and this rune of connection. Let me come to you through the mists, through the fire, through the plants, through the deep flowing wells. There's all these places to make connection. The wake of what has been revealed, life feels very sweet. So what does feel sweet to you, even in the face of suffering and despair even, and sadness and grief and compassion for others? What still feels very sweet to you? So Bridget, as we already know, is the goddess of fire, the fire of inspiration, smithcraft, poetry, healing, and divination. Legend says that Bridget was born with a flame reaching out of the top of her head, connecting her with the universe. Ooh, connecting her with the universe. The Christian saint and the pagan Bridget were merged into Saint Bridget in AD 450. And that's one of the things that I love about Bridget, is how much she still carries with her of this syncretization of the pagan customs and the Christian kind of taking over, but yet Bridget survives. Bridget comes to ignite you with inspiration. Are you feeling a lack of direction, motivation, or energy? Has your path gone out of focus and your life become unclear? Are you yearning for something but can't quite put your finger on it? It is time to nurture wholeness by taking in the sparkle and crackle of inspiration. Bridget says that a life without the fire of inspiration is dull indeed. So allow inspiration to nurture your life as you become sharper, clearer, and more energetic. And then I'm going to go ahead and share the card, Extend. May you extend your awareness till you touch that web of connection. May you reach out to those threads of grace and feel them holding you. And then our reminder, I am open to life's unfolding. And our affirmation for this month in general is I am present with what's arising. I participate in life's unfolding. And then she had a reminder tucked in the back too. When we set forth on a goddess-centered path, we feel ourselves unfold. Our power strengthens, our magic deepens, and our own essential wholeness is revealed. So that reminds me of what we just read in the Goddess Oracle book about what is revealed as we stand there in the sweetness. And then the prayer that popped out of the deck, and this is really a practice. This is a practice, and it's perfect for inspiration. Take a deep breath. Feel the breath of grace fill you. Plant your feet steady and strong. Feel the earth carry you. Open your hands, quiet your thoughts. Feel the flow of life dancing in your cells. Lay a hand against your heart. Feel the ember of purpose that glows there, the fire of the infinite within you, sacred and strong. I didn't fully realize until I was actually reading this aloud how this itself is a prayer of connection, a prayer and a practice of connection and interdependence. So may you have a wonderful week ahead. May you allow your heart to crack open to feel it all. May you allow yourself to sense that web of connection, those threads of grace. May you use your privilege and your inspiration and your power to do as much good as you can. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.